Well, look, I'm going to finish off. We talked about bodybuilding. I got some sort of like relatively quick fire questions on training and workout that I'm sure a lot of people are interested in, particularly me. A few selfish ones in here as well. So first question, what's Yoda 3?
It's Neill's. It's Y3T. So Yoda 3 training. It's basically 3 different weeks. Week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 1 is heavy compound, lower reps. Week 2 is kind of like a hybrid of the 3rd week. Rep ranges on the 2nd week goes up a little bit higher. On the 3rd week, so it kind of answers number 2, is high reps, drop sets, supersets. So every single week you get a different stimulus, and then you repeat it all over again. So that's something that Neill was doing way before it became something. And I was like, Neill, like, why isn't this got a name? Why, like, and he was like, well, what the hell is this? No, this is not a training style, because everybody was trying to do a training style back then. And I was like, just make a name for it. And I was like, I'll call it something. 3 weeks here. Your name's Yoda. Y3T. He was like, I like that. So that was it. And then I started talking about it like it's there for life. But we've been doing it since I was like 19. So it's nothing that was created. This was something that was just put a name to. And of course, people were like, oh, you only created this because you wanted to be cool, you know, whatever. Yeah, bullshit. But this is a system that he's been doing for a number of years. And as you can see, the proof is in the pudding, you know. I prefer, if I was to say anything, which I've done more predominantly, is the week 3. It's a little bit of a hybrid between week 3 and week 2. Traveling around the world, you can't be doing week 1. You're going into somebody's gym, you don't know the equipment, you're trying to train that style, you can't do that. So a little bit of a combo of week 2, leaning more into week 3, where it's more of a higher rep. But then when I was home, I kind of done the week 3, I'd done the Y3T along with a hybrid of week 2, week 3. Anytime I trained with Neill, which was, you know, Neill would come in periodically because he was living in the UK at that time until I got him here full time. He'd just take over the workout. And that's great for me because as I said many times, I would lead the workout. So I'd be like, listen, Neill. And it was such a nice relief to be on neat coaches coming into town for the next couple of months. He's taking the workouts. You wear that hat. I would just have to turn up, get my ass kicked. Enjoy the workout. Sorry, I'm reminiscing as we're talking.
Okay.
Quick fire, these are supposed to be. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll improve.
In general, off season, where you are now, light versus heavy.
260 off season. Lightest I've ever been is no.
Right. And in terms, sorry, I should have put that differently. In terms of weight, like when you're training, like heavy weight, low rep.
I thought you meant physical weight. Well, the biggest I've ever been was 260, which is huge for me.
Yeah.
But in terms of throwing on a weight, I did love throwing on heavy weight. The strongest I've ever been was training with Dallas, which is arguably one of the strongest bodybuilders ever to be on this earth. The guy was pound for pound, incredibly strong. Massive detriment for me to making my 212 weight because the weight was going up and my body mass was going up too. So I kind of had to change that training style.
Right. Fast versus slow in terms of when you're exercising reps, you're slow.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about me in the bedroom, but yeah. Fast versus slow. A little bit of both, because again, you know, if you're training legs, there's no fast leg workouts. You take your time, you know, you pace out your workouts. Mentally, you're putting in a lot of reps. I'm a volume guy. Of course, if somebody looked to me from afar, there's a lot of weight in the machine, but I'm like a 30 rep guy. I think that stimulation for legs in particular, because we're on our feet all day long, needs to come with high volume and high stress pressure, forced reps, mental game, on point, training partners, forcing their reps out, saying things consciously, saying things unconsciously at the right times, at the right reps needed. I'm going back
Sounds
into
intense, that does.
Yeah.
How many sets do you do per body part?
Between 20 and 24.
20 and 24. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What in terms of workout duration typically? Where are you on that?
Hour to an hour and a half.
Right.
Bigger body parts, legs and back, hour and a half. Smaller body parts, hour or less.
Right.
In and out.
And how many body parts per week?
I would train one body part per day. I wouldn't arms would be combined or separated. So sometimes, okay, my last training system was Sunday legs, Monday morning hamstrings.
Right.
A couple hours later, chest, back. I'd have 2 days off a week off. Wednesday was one, and then on Thursday I would do shoulders. Friday I would do arms. Saturday off. So, you know, I trained with Dorian when I was young a few times. Dorian would. I remember telling Dorian that I went 10 days straight training, and he'd be like, "What is wrong with you? You need to be taking at least 4 days off a week." I was like, 4 days off a week?
Yeah, he was one body part a week, wasn't he, Dorian?
But it was wild. But he'd also do, you know, that one body part straight into, you know, you do chest and you do calves and arms. But for me, I've done so many different training styles, so many different combinations. And I've trained with the best in the world, the best of the best. And I feel like I've taken everything and I put it together. And then if Neill is not training me, I have my own kind of style of training.
Favorite body parts to train?
My weakest one is chest.
Is it?
It's the most stubborn body part I've suffered with my whole career, and my favorite body part to train. I couldn't wait to train chest. I couldn't wait because it was absolute dog shit compared to my other body parts.
And obviously your legs are not weak. How do you enjoy training legs?
Who does enjoy training legs? It's a sadistic love. You go into the gym knowing, I would actually drive to the gym nervous.
About leg day.
Yes, and every day.
Scare yourself.
Yeah, and it would be brutal. And there'd be many videos, many sessions where my lower back would be destroyed. And I'm on Florida, used to get incredibly hot, you know, and it would heat up that asphalt, that tarmac. One of the best things to do is lie on that tarmac, and that heat would just take that back pump away and back into the gym. So I would say my leg days were absolutely brutal. I paid the price for it. I brought in the training partners who were known for having some of the best developed legs and some of the strongest guys. But then again, so it just makes that mentality sharpened. You know, I didn't want to show weakness in front of these younger guys. Again, they're going in, they're like, put another plate on. I was like, put 2 on for me. Let's go.
What's your favorite exercise or exercise machine?
Anything Arsenal strength.
Anything else? That's a good answer. And maybe we convince you to try some escape as well.
Oh, yeah. I've seen what you guys are doing, and congratulations on everything you're doing over there too.
But have you got a machine or whatever that you just kind of like, because you're obviously a bit of a machine connoisseur, and putting your own brand aside, are there any things that you just like, it feels good and you just enjoy getting in it?
I don't put stock into one particular of anything. I'll be honest with you. There's one of the reasons why I have so many different pieces and have had so many different brands of old is because I fall in love with different pieces and I want others to try them pieces. So one of the reasons why I mentioned Arsenal Strength is because it's made by athletes for athletes. So the whole gym, you know, I would say 90% of the gym is Arsenal Strength, and I truly enjoy seeing athletes get on their pieces and kicking their own ass. But there's not one single piece I go, man, I want to train on that every single session. I think what happens is if you develop that habit, it's a bad habit to have, and then you start making that exercise easier for yourself when you should miss that exercise to go back to it. There's a couple of exercises that I would love to do every week, but I stay away from them to recircle back. It's kind of like being away from your wife, you know? Right?
That's a good way of putting it, but I know what you mean.
you stay away from your wife or you go away on a business trip, or you speak, or you do some business endeavors, and you come back and, you know, you see your wife for the first time, and it's like, I missed you. You know, that's my gym equipment experience. Every time I go to the gym or travel around the world, every time I come back, and like,
Someone said, I asked someone about, you know, what are good habits to put in your life, and they said to me, which always stuck, it's like, you don't want any good habits in your life because habits mean that you're unconscious. So you want to make sure everything you do is conscious, so you're
love it.
present, and that kind of got me thinking a little about it differently.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a mental gem for today.
So diet, meat, fish, plant-based. Have you got any preferences there? And I'm talking non-competition.
Right now, vegan. You know, I have right now a design diet that has nothing to do with anybody. Nobody has told me to do this. This is just how I am and how I function, and it gets the best out of me being, a retired bodybuilder and business guy. So I get up in the morning. Let's just say I'm up and moving and grooving at 4:30. I do my cardio. I won't eat my first meal until about 9. And that first meal is eggs, bacon, and olive oil. I don't have any carbs. I come to the gym. What I found of all, and just to answer why that question is, that meal is catered like that. If I have carbs, I feel by the time I get to the gym and I start getting on calls and I'm trying to do things with my staff, I feel foggy. And I feel like I'm, mentally not there. So I don't get that way if I don't eat carbs. And normally in my second carb meal is around about 12 o'clock. In fact, it's sitting up there.
Waiting to go.
Yeah, ready to go. And I'll eat that. A couple hours later, I pick up my daughter, and just to tell the viewers, sorry, skipping over that part, but just to tell the viewers, that is a Mega Fit meal who I have a great relationship with.
For my lunch.
They are a company that has been with me, kind of a sponsor plug here, but they've been with me throughout my Olympia career. Incredible company, self-made, great guys, love the business model, love the mentality. I linked up with these, like I said, on the very early stage of growth, and now they're one of the, if not the biggest company in the fitness space because they do it right. They do it right, and I also have a signature line through them.
Yeah, I saw that in the fridge. You've got certain recipes.
Yeah, Flex Lewis signature meals. That is actually one of my favorite. I consume that too much. I need it's a salmon.
That is a
habit. Yeah. I have so brain trained, but right up there, just to let the viewers know, I probably got about a cup, a little over a cup, with some steak and some asparagus. I then have 3 hours later, 4 hours later, salmon. So I have a wide diverse of meats and different protein sources, and then before bed I have the same meal as what I woke up on. So I try not to go to bed with carbs. I sleep a lot better. I mean, I'm 60 pounds lighter than what I was. So of course that helps too. But there's the methodology behind me doing this. And, I've been able to drop weight just by doing that. And right now, I can't get any smaller on the diet I'm on right now. I'd have to starve myself.
And I'm looking across him, and he's huge.
I'm not huge. I used to be. I'm humble enough to recognize that. But the diet element of things, I eat very clean. The bacon is what it is. But it's, very lean cut bacon. I use fats in a lot of my meals, like good fats. I'm a big believer in that too, for brain function and whatnot. And with the weekends, one of the weekends, if not both, I have whatever I want. Not all throughout the weekends. I mean, I still have structure. I still wake up with the same breakfast, and I still go to bed with the same meal. But throughout the day, if I want something, and to be honest, when it comes to the time, I used to do this with bodybuilding too. I'd have a cheat day, cheat meal. I talk myself out of it. I come to the day, and in the end, this became such an issue between me and my coach that my wife literally had to film me eat my cheat meals, because I would look forward to it all week, and then come the day that I was going to cheat, which is it aids significantly in the process of weight loss. It's also something mentally you can look forward to. I would talk myself out of it because I don't need it. And I would say, what is wrong with you? Like, you can have anything you want, and you don't want to know. It's like, maybe we'll have sushi, salmon and rice. Like, I don't like pizza. I don't like none of that stuff.
That's good. Sometimes I feel if I ever have that, I feel worse anyway. So it's like actually.
And with my GI issues, that's kind of what I was setting myself up for. So I'm glad you mentioned that. The GI issues really were a detriment to me throughout my career. So even if I had that cheat meal, I was paying for it that night. So sometimes it was best not to have it, or what I ended up doing was cheating on the same foods I would kind of eat, just more of them.
Yeah.
Lunatic. But the weekends now are kind of time with the family, and you know, it's now that I've been able to reset my gut issues, and I had to stop eating the frequencies and the portions that I was eating. I mean, I was eating 7 to 8 meals a day, 10 to 12 ounces of meat per meal. And in some cases, some days I was eating in the upwards of 800 grams of carbs alone. It's a lot of food.
Yeah.
And I was lean. I had to eat more, and I couldn't physically eat. In the end, I was blending 3 of my meals a day, which is chicken breast and rice, which Neill couldn't stand. But anything to get it in. I had to mentally tell myself that was soup. Otherwise, you're thinking that's blended chicken breast and rice, right? It's disgusting. But again, it's a mentality thing, so sorry.
Alcohol, is that anything, do you drink alcohol?
I'm Welsh, mate. What's wrong with you? Come on. I like a good old-fashioned,
right,
smoked old-fashioned.
You got one of those little smokers at home, have you?
My friend's got one of the best restaurants here in town, and it's called Barry's, and we go there and they put it all on. You know, they do it right. So I kind of will only wait to go and have it done there. But outside of that, I mean, not really. No, I mean, I drank a lot when I played rugby. I've seen the inside of many toilet doors when I played rugby. I've seen the inside of a lot of different bedrooms I didn't want to wake up into. So I was a winger that really knew how to go hard, and I enjoyed myself enough to say, okay, now I'm bodybuilding. I started very young. I mean, you know, in the UK, the drinking age is 18, you start at 15, right?
Yeah.
And when you play rugby, it's kind of a part of the game, it's part of the culture. So I was able to, you know, get away with it there. And by the time that I became 18 and legal enough to drink, I was like, yeah.
I'm over it.
I'm over it. I'm over it. And as the years have gone on, I've kind of, less and less.
Right. And what about supplements? Like, do you substitute protein, or do you get that with your food? Like protein powders, for example.
Excuse me, sorry. I'm sponsored by Yamamoto Nutrition, so they're a phenomenal company based out of Italy. I don't know if you know of them or not.
I've heard of them, yeah. I've not used the product, but I've heard of them.
So, quick backstory of that. I mean, I was signed with a lot of different companies. Well, not a lot, I'm sorry. The main companies that were in the supplement industry. Gaspari Nutrition was one when they were at their highest and the peak, and shout out to Rich. And then BSN, they signed me after. And what you kind of find out is the majority of this stuff all comes from the same 3 to 4 places. And in the end, I was kind of burnt out with having the stomach issues and going through the same process of how things were flavored and everything else, that I had to look overseas. And overseas, especially in Italy, especially in Japan and stuff like that, they do things differently. They truly batch test before they leave, batch test when they land. If it's off, it goes back. The raw ingredients are nil and void. So how they were doing things was one of the reasons why I was very interested in Yamamoto Nutrition and what they were doing. And I know this kind of sounds like a plug, but it's truly what separates them from the pack. And because of my, as I said, gut issues, I had to seek these. So I signed with these guys, and I've been with them now for a number of years. And, you know, they've been an absolute powerhouse for me behind me in all I've done and continue to do so.
Can you get that in America?
Yeah, they actually were and have been making a plan to break into the industry. It's just very hard because of how they are and what they do. They cost significantly more. But again, it's the equivalent of buying steak and tuna, right? So, but the mentality in the US is, well, this tastes good. It must be good, right? So when you have a product that is not designed around taste, it's designed around what it should be doing and digestibility and everything else that goes alongside it, you know, it's more knowledge and power. So that's where they're at right now. They're designing a more of a strategy of marketing to education, and they've got a lot of athletes. In fact, they've got the best athletes in the world sign with them. They got Regan Grimes, Brandon Hendrickson, they got Neill Hill, they got myself, they got Rolly Winkler, they've got so many more athletes, like a massive rostrum of athletes, and they're doing it, like I said, they're doing it right.
What about, do you take anything creatine at all?
I haven't done creatine for a long time. No, not recently. I mean, especially now. I think creatine has a big part in any athlete's gym bag. They should be supplementing with creatine. But in my peak, I was probably taking about 10 to 15 grams a day, predominantly around my workout. And I've tried it different times too. I've taken it first thing in the morning, and you know, kind of like drip feed it throughout the day.
I found I'm no expert by any means, but I find if I take it for a workout, in particular if I do cardio, and someone said there's some research on it, but it really kind of it helps with my thinking.
Really?
It stimulates the mind. Apparently it's good to take if you're doing jiu-jitsu, because, yeah, and again, don't take my word for it, but apparently there's some research about how it stimulates part of your brain, and it's a good thing for, and even if you probably don't want to sit down and just take it, but even if you sort of like doing any kind of work, it's it's something that what do they call it? Those brain enhancers or something?
Yeah, nootropics.
Yeah. So
I know obviously creatine has massive benefactors with the ATP explosive stuff, right? So when I was training very high volume, I was using different form of creatine periodically. But because of the stage I was and have been at the last couple of months to a year of dramatically bringing my body weight down, I've not done anything to try to hold on to anything. So the stage I'm at right now, I'm actually, again, this is the first time I've spoken about this, but it will be more common knowledge. I'm going to be doing a fit for 40, not the word, not the theme I'm going to be calling it, but I'm turning 40 in November. So I want to be in the best shape I can be, but in a physically, mentally, and cardiovascularly than I've ever been. So I had this athlete background up, that I was a cardio king, and then I went from running is bad. You can't do that if you want to put weight on, to doing nothing but steady pace cardio. So now I'm getting back into the swing of things. So it's kind of why all that stuff is on the whiteboard behind you, where we're making plans of action. So we start that in June, and there's going to be a periodic, following of sorts, documenting different things. So a little bit of bodybuilding training. I won't lose my core foundation. A little bit of strongman training, maybe a little stuff for the UFC guys. A couple of things mixed in, and I think it'd be just, a good journey to follow. There's more of again, for me, a new goal, a new task that I could get my head into, aside from all the businesses, because I still have to work on my personal brand. Because the businesses is a collective group of everybody, even though I'm leading from the front, but I still have to have things that I demand from myself personally as a brand too. So that's something I'm excited for.
And what about recovery? Is there anything? I guess it's a word that's discussed a lot, and there's many different things around it. But what do you find is good to help you recover? Do you have certain like sleep rituals or anything like that to make sure you sort of get recover, don't get injured or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of started focusing on recovery way after I got injured. I came, like I said, to the country. I didn't have a pot to piss in. I didn't have no money to put into anything but the sport. And what I was putting into the sport was tuna and rice and 3 tubs of protein. Whoever would give me something at that time. And as the years have gone on, and also, going back to what I was saying, surrounding myself with certain athletes, you hear that the investment that they put into to themselves in recovery is, incredible. You hear about LeBron James spending an ungodly amount on different therapists. And when you hear that, you think to myself, wow, that guy's the best in the world. He trains every day as if it's kind of his rookie season. And he's now surrounded himself with the best therapists, the best mental coaches, the best of the best. But he's paying for it. when I was, broke, I had a lot of people that genuinely offered their services to me. And then when I made money, they were the first people to get paid. And they been a traveling circus with me. So when I moved from Tennessee to Florida, they came. When I moved to Florida to Vegas, they came. So I have a lot of people who still are in and around me. Some people have gone, over the years, but doesn't mean to say that I'm not friends with them. But the ones that have stayed in and around me all benefit from that element. And recovery was something that I really started putting more and more into. For the Olympia preps, I got 2 torn shoulders, I got micro tears in different parts of the body. I was having physical therapy 5 times a week. Wasn't shooting none of it, wasn't talking about it. Didn't need anybody to know about it, didn't need a judge to be like, yeah, I can see them tears. Nothing was known. I only started speaking about it after the fact, when I've retired. But recovery for me, I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't sleep at night, and then I started looking into different things. I invested into a bed, one of these systematic beds. I also sleep to this day, which is kind of a tip for the viewers watching. If anybody has a shoulder pain, I bought, or shall I say, when my wife was pregnant, a pregnancy pillow. One of these big
Is
U.
it where you put your arm in it? Is that?
No, it's the big U shape.
Oh, okay, I'm not seeing that.
So I sleep in this pillow like this.
On your back?
On my back.
All right.
On
Do you
my
snore?
shoulder. No, I don't. Now I've lost 60 pounds. I sleep in this pillow like this, and I'm kind of cocooned in. Because when I was in prep, I was a very restless sleeper. I mean, you're talking about metabolism, you're talking about night sweats, you're talking about all that thing that comes with being part of a bodybuilder stroke athlete, that metabolism is flying, and you'd wake up in the middle of the night hungry, soaking wet, just for no reason. You've just started sweating in your sleep. And now, obviously, I don't get none of that, but I still have the mentality of recovery in my head. So right now, I've got things like cold plunge in my house. I've got a sauna that's coming. It's on the way. And this is all kind of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this next chapter, in this next journey, is showing that, that the recovery element of things is just as important as the physicality that you put in. Because you can't grow unless you recover. And I've said this to so many young guys. You grow the 23 hours you're out of the gym, not the hour you're in the gym. As long as you put that work in, recover. Don't be fucking around. Don't be staying up late. Don't be missing meals. It's very easy when you get down the bare essentials. Bodybuilding is bare basics. Eat, sleep, train, repeat. That's it. That's all you need to do. And a lot of people fuck that up. I don't know how. It's just easy. So keep consistent with your goals. Keep consistent with your plan of action, and dream big. If you want to be a champion, then you've got to believe in yourself before anybody else does. And it took me a while to believe in myself. But when I believed in myself, let me tell you something, I had booster rockets on my back, and I was like, okay, now I see what I need to do, but not just for me, but for the people who believe in me too. And now it's time to go. And when I said, when that started happening and that belief system started kicking, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And now I'm into a different stratosphere with, businessmen that talk a completely different language. But I truly enjoy it, because this is the world I want to be in. And I'm marrying bodybuilding and business together at the Dragon's Den.